Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's 9 p.m. You are watching on Live RTD channel. Welcome to this English news edition. Coming up, the headlines. 160,000 vulnerable people food insecure, according to the Ministry of Agriculture. The Republic of Djibouti launched its ambition of the National Development Plan. And on the international scenes, diplomatic activities fails to ease tension. Those were the top stories. Thanks for joining us in our newsroom. The Minister of Agriculture and Livestock issues a statement declaring that Djibouti is experiencing a severe drought due to the scarcity of rain. Details in this report.
Je déclare au nom du gouvernement solennellement une déclaration sécheresse, un plan d'alerte sécheresse à Djibouti, dont la teneur suit.
I declare on behalf of the government a drought alert plan in Djibouti. The latest data collected on the various watersheds of the Republic of Djibouti show the low level of groundwater. Unfortunately, the rainfall deficit recorded and less than 145 millimeters. It did not allow an improvement of the situation during the year 2020 and 2021. Indeed, the almost total absence of rain during the month of February 2022 combined with the deficit of rainfall over most the territory in 2021, and this has accentuated the deteriorations of the condition of pastures throughout the country, as well as the rapid decline in water level in traditional wells and water reserves, underground tanks, which is the source of briefly watering livestock and providing drinking water to rural nomadic population. Thus, during the year 2021, the average temperature reached the highest value since 1980, without a real raining season for 3 years. The situation is already critical in various localities in the interior region, namely in Tejora. In view of this situation, it is therefore necessary to maintain increased monitoring of hydrological conditions because this cumulative deficit of rainfall will lead to a decrease in the flow of traditional wells that will result in the short terms in a shortage waters for animals and rural population. This will affect food security for 60,000 percentage people. And we ask the development partners here present to assist us in responding to the emergencies, namely the food supply of the population, which are in distress. In turn, the coordinator of the United Nations agency in the country expressed his concern about the drought in the country. For more details in this report.
Rejoins ce qu'a dit le ministre de l'Agriculture. Nous sommes très inquiets par rapport à la
We are very concerned about the rainfall situation in the country and the impact it has on the people, especially the nomadic population. And this is a situation that occurs not only in Djibouti but also in the interior region. And it is a situation which is very crucial and critical. And that is why this alert and this statement is important to draw attention to the situation of our population who are living in a very difficult time because of its rainfall deficit situation for several years, and therefore they suffer from the impact of a climate change. And so we ask for the support of our partners in order to support the situation and provide for the population which are affected by the drought in the country. The Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed sponsored today, Sunday, at the Kampaski Palace Hotel, the activities of launching the National Platform for the National Development. The launch of the plan took place in the presence of a number of government members, including the Minister of Economic and Finance Ilyas Musa Dawali and the development partners, in addition to the representative of civil society. The National Plan for National Development includes successive 5-year plans and aims priorities to achieve the desired structural transformation of the economy and reduce the unemployment rates. The National Development Plan is based on 3 main pillars, such as inclusion, communication, and enhancing the efficiency of institutions. The plan aims to improve the quality of life and well-being of citizens. The national plan also seeks to make Djibouti a regional and continental economic rise, and to provide a multi-service platform for finance and new information and communication technologies to ensure better national integration, with the aim of accelerating urban and rural development as well as better coverage of social and economic service. The representative of the United Nations Development Programme delivered a speech in which she pointed out the importance of the occasion for the benefits of Djibouti and the development partners, praising the efforts of the government of Djibouti to develop the country. In turn, she congratulated the representative of World Bank in Djibouti for launching such a national development plan. For his part, the Minister of Economic and Finance indicated that the plan aims to accelerate growth and boost employment in the country. Details, let us listen to his words.
Pour la première fois, notre pays a réalisé des gains dans le classement du développement humain selon le rapport mondial sur le développement humain.
For the first time, our country has made gains in the Human Development Ranking Round. According to the Human Development Report from 2021, Djibouti has always managed to develop modern infrastructure, including ports, the railroad, but also in terms of a telecommunication infrastructure that's stabilizing the largest free zones in East Africa. For your information, in 2021, the port of Djibouti has been ranked number 1 in Africa. Despite this convincing result, we will face persistent challenges, especially on the social level, with a fairly high unemployability rate, especially among young people, in addition to the pandemic, which appeared in the early 2020. Has accentuated the fragility of our economic and our microeconomic fundamentals. Today, and in the presence of the Prime Minister, we officially launch the roadmap for a stable and sustainable development for our dear country, Djibouti. The document you have in the hand today is not just a narrative of economic and social planning document, but rather it is a consolidation of an aspiration of our fellow citizens to a better quality of life and well-being. We have identified and compiled the priorities of this plan through an extensive consultation process within the government, civil society, and the private sector. The Prime Minister Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed, in his speech, explained that the national development plan is based primarily on three basic axes, which are inclusiveness, connectivity, and institutionalization. He said these three letters stand for inclusion, connectivity, and institution. This plan refers to the government's policy implemented for the past 2 years to deal with the crisis of external origin, whether financial, as we experienced a few years ago, on port traffic or health with the pandemic to cope with the crisis of exogenous origin. The President of the Republic, he said, has asked the government to implement three priorities: inclusion to allow more resilience to economic life and therefore to include all Djiboutian in development and connectivity to bring the region closer to the capital in national development and strongly promote the digital economy and an important sources of job creation. A strong institution for harmonious and democratic development and sustainable inclusion, connectivity, and institution aim to strengthen the welfare of our citizens, said the Prime Minister, and continuing by saying wherever they are on the territory and whatever their social situation. Finally, the Prime Minister said this plan fits perfectly with the vision of the President of the Republic called Djibouti 2035, which was adopted in 2014 with the ambition of making Djibouti the lighthouse of the Red Sea, a trade and logistic hub of Africa. The Minister of Infrastructure and Equipment, Hassan Ahmed Ibrahim, received in his office the auditors of the International Civil Aviation Organization, Mr. Abdel Radawi, team leader and member of this team. The meeting was attended by the Director General of the Civil Aviation, the Director of Safety and Flight Standards, Mohammed Abdallah, as well as the head of the ET department, director of the airport, Mohammed Yusuf Sharmake. After 2 weeks of work, the delegation of auditors came to greet the minister, but also to take stock of the progress of audit, which took place from February 1 to February 14. The minister also asked the experts for their point of view, but also their opinion on the state of progress. The Minister of Youth and Culture launched today, Sunday, in the People's Palace, the National Week of Artists in the Mother Tongue, the mother language. The launching of the National Week took place in the presence of the Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Mumin Asawi, and the Director of the Radio Television Authority, in addition to the personnel of the Ministry of Culture and Youth. The National Artist and Nation Language Week aimed to enrich the national culture and honor the great artists. The audience watched a painting featuring the most prominent Djiboutian artists and artistic. The Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Momin Asowi, gave a speech during the launching ceremony of the National Week of the Artistics and Mother Language. The Minister of Youth and Culture was she said the ministry was born on the political will of the head of the state, His Excellency Ismail Margili, who saw fit to bring together in the same department youth and culture, and we thank him very warmly for this intelligence. The minister continued by saying, I am convinced to think more deeply the link between the linguistics and artistic diversity of our arts and culture. Already, my thanks go to the great family of culture, including intellectuals, songwriters, artists, experts, and sectoral executive, public and private institution, association of civil society, and so on, who will open side by side in order to let the agenda of this week offer a space for meeting and exchange, leading to a constructive discussion. The minister also continued by saying, I congratulate this participatory approach adopted by the organizers of the MGC an approach that federates several forces because good ideas come from collective and concert reflection. Moreover, continued the minister, the entire program of this week is the result of a mobilization of all public actors of culture and sectoral staff with the support of a history of Djiboutian experts, arts and national heritage, artistic practices, and mother language. We hope, conclude, the minister reach in the intense debate more in-depth consultation and interactive exchange on culture in general and the interconnection between the artists and language in particular. The purpose of the nativity of the CMA visit the National Assembly on their arrival. They were welcomed by the Secretary General of the National Assembly and the staff of National Assembly. During their visit, the purpose of the nativity students visit the hemicycle. The staff of the National Assembly provide him some information of the compositions and the number of the parliamentarians who sits in the National Assembly. They also provide them some historical recall of the creation and establishment of the National Assembly. The students were very moved by these visits, and they all came to the microphone on our colleague Hamza Mohammed to tell what they have learned and that they have marked them. As an extension of its solidarity activities with the simple families in the Unity region of Dakhel region in the south of the country, and with the support of its partners from the public and private sector, the Karma Karn Association distribute health supplies and mosquito nets to the resident and to the resident living in the Sheikh Haiti district, located 10 kilometers from the capital of the Dakhel region. This gesture came shortly after the onset of the rainy season and is the unique initiative to contribute in reducing the spread of mosquitoes and other vectors borne disease. In an effort to alleviate the suffering of simple families in the sub-district, the head of Karma Karn Association, Mr. Ali Halaf Mohammed, handed over a significant amount of school supplies intended for students in the presence of a head of sub-districts and activator of the community development sector. Today, Sunday, the Dita Transit handball team received sport equipment and supplies from the team is a sponsor. This event took place in the presence of the team leader, Ms. Muna Usman, and the Dita Transit, in addition of their guests, and that this occasion came within the framework of the team sponsor's strategy aiming at the enhancing of the team's presence in the National Handball Championship. In a brief speech on this occasion, the head of the football team expressed Dita Transit for this donation, which consists of sport equipment and supplies. Obituary. Now we regret to announce you the death of Jama Musa Moge, who passed away last night in Turkey. The disease was born in 1953 in the Dihel region. The disease left behind him a widow and 11 children and 1 grandchildren. The disease was the father of our colleague Mukhtar Jama, a cameraman of the RTD. In these painful circumstances, the management of RTD and the entire staff send their sincere condolences to the family and relative of the deceased. May God welcome him in his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Another obituary. We regret to announce the death of the late Iwad Ali, who passed away yesterday in Djibouti after a short illness. The disease was born in Asagela region of Tijora and was known for his kindness and wisdom, and was in employment of Gula Stadium. He leaves behind a large family, including a widow and 6 children and several brothers, including his brother Muhammad Ali, counting office of the RTD, sharing the pain of the families and the late Iwad Ali. The management of all the staff of RTD addressed their most sadness condolences to the family and their colleague Muhammad Ali. We pray the God to welcome him in his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And now moving on to the international scenes, diplomatic effort marked by a frenzy of phone calls between Western leaders and Moscow have failed to ease tension around Ukraine, with the Kremlin denouncing U.S. hysteria and saying that Joe Biden treating Vladimir Putin with a severe and swift repercussion in the event of an attack. Washington insists on Friday on the risk of an imminent invasion of Ukraine by Russia, which has massed more than 100,000 soldiers near the border and has just started military maneuver in the Black Sea and the Belarus, framing fact the country. Such an invasion will have rapid and severe consequences for Russia. Joe Biden warned on Saturday during an interview with his Russian counterpart, the head of American diplomacy, Antony Blinken. Meanwhile, warned on Thursday after his meeting with his counterpart Sergei Lavrov against a possible Russian provocation, a pretext for war. This is it for this edition. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful evening.